Now today, Mercedes-Benz is celebrating 65 years of manufacturing the luxury vehicle here in South Africa. The manufacturer has over the years invested billions on its operations in East London. This has created jobs across the supply chain and growth in automotive component exports. But there are some issues, and business anchor Rofhiwa Madzena will unpack those for us. She's live for us in East London and at a stakeholder engagement. Rofhiwa, it's quite the milestone that MBSA is celebrating, but over the years it's become tougher for it to operate in South Africa. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Masakho, I suppose that's the story for many of the big businesses operating in the country at the moment. It's gotten tougher, but Mercedes-Benz still making its mark here in East London, servicing 80 countries at the moment with what they manufacture. They employ about 4,000 people at the moment, Masakho, and they've really made great strides over the last 65 years. And of course, many of the different stakeholders that are involved in the business are confident that despite the water crisis, the power issues, we will be seeing some form of improvement in the operating landscape in South Africa. But I don't want to say too much because we've got the CEO of Mercedes-Benz South Africa who can tell us all about that himself. Andreas Brandt, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And it's been a very informative event that you have hosted today. But what would you say were some of the biggest highlights that you picked up from the different stakeholders that weighed in on the conversations?
The key is that we have the same understanding. So it was no contradiction. I think we all share the perspective. It came out very clearly that we are actually talking the same language. And when we are talking about the same language, we can agree on our actions. And you saw me speaking about passion, which is a South African identity, and we talked about action. And it's all about action now.
Yeah. You've been operating in East London for about 65 years, as we're celebrating today, but it hasn't gotten easier because issues have worsened. Tell us about some of the ways that Mercedes-Benz is dealing with the power crisis, for example, and infrastructure issues, and the list goes on, I suppose.
Yeah, if you look at it under the electricity umbrella, it's literally three pillars that we are talking about. Load shedding is the most prominent one. We are defending ourselves from those load sheddings by putting additional electric capacity in, like the microgrid that Simpiwe was talking about, and that can be scaled to other locations. The second one is the electricity quality, and we are putting 16 million rand against a voltage regulator that protects us from those dips and peaks. And the third pillar is about communication. It's all about communication. So we need to properly talk to each other to be aware of what's going to come. But we have to overcome the constraints. It's doubtless we have to overcome the constraints.
And what is the outlook for Mercedes-Benz in South Africa when it comes to new manufacturing capacity, but also the move towards the EVs? We've been talking about those. Economist Tabi Lyoka weighing in on that earlier on today.
So if you look at the C-Class, this is literally edge-cutting. From a product point of view, the potential of that car, unbelievable. And we are just launching the last one. So the AMG 63 is in its first steps of launch. And we are going to get this car into China. So there's a lot of potential in the 206 himself, the car itself. It has a hybrid already. So we've been building hybrids since 2016, and this is now the next generation of that. What is my vision? The vision for 2030, 2040 is having an electric vehicle here. But till then, the 206 is a brilliant car to get us through the next years.
Brilliant car, hope to afford one day indeed. Andreas, thank you very much for your time. Masakho, that is the CEO of Mercedes-Benz South Africa. Andreas Brandt there joining us to speak about the 65 years that they've operated here, but also some of the issues and how they're dealing with it. And of course, as you've just heard there, the outlook of the business. Masakho, onto the markets now. So the JSE is continuing its day of losses. So we've seen that there's been a lot of concern around growth in China based on manufacturing data that was released. You're also seeing that in the United Kingdom, they are going to be reaching their highest interest rates with another 25 basis points hike. And that is going to be something that market participants are going to be looking closely at.